So there are some absolutely trash helms here in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Some examples are here, here, and here. Now, on the other hand, there are some absolutely amazing ones that are used by a ton of characters and a ton of builds. And that's what that list is here right today. The top 5 best helms in all of Diablo 2 Resurrected. I'm using very general criteria on how I'm picking which helms are the absolute best. Essentially, how many different builds these helms are used on and how many different people on Battle.net will use them. So even if a helmet is best in slot for some super niche builds, so it is very fun to use, if it's not used by a ton of people, not making the list. If you disagree with this list anyways, feel free, head down in the comments and let me know if you'd slide anything in or take anything off. Respectfully, of course.
Let's get after it.
So what are people actually looking for on these helms that make them so great? Well, first of all, you want things to help out your kill speed. These things include, but are not limited to, things like anything to the skills for your character. You can get -2 enemy resistances, you can get plus to a particular type of element of damage that you deal, and all different things along those lines. Now, the other thing you want to look for is things that are going to help you survive, because if you're dying all the time, you're losing experience and you're wasting time. Or if you're playing in hardcore mode, you're done, son. These type of things are like damage reduction, you can get life, or you can even get things like life leech. Now, there's also something that if you're out there farming and trying to get better items you want that doesn't necessarily fall into either one of those categories, but that is the ever important magic find. The more combination of these types of things that you can get on a helm, that will make it better. So the very first helm coming in on this list is the Nightwing Fail. Now, one of the criteria I used is how often this item and how many different builds it goes on, and that's why this one's sliding in late on the list at number 5, because it's kind of more for very specific builds, but it is very good for those builds. The main thing that sets this apart from other helms is the percent to cold skill damage, this helm getting 8 to 15. It also has other stuff to help your character out, such as the 2 to all skills, 10 to 20 dexterity, and it does also have cold absorb. Now, I couldn't go any higher because really it's only used on 2 builds. One of them is an incredibly niche build that you play kind of just for fun, and one other one is that Cold Sorceress. Usually you'll be going Blizzard, but if you're not going to go with the Magic Find version where you'd use a different helm, this was the maxed damage version where you use the Nightwing's helm. Another build that you use on the niche one that I mentioned earlier is the Freezing Arrow Amazon. It has never been the most powerful build in the past, but it is a fun one to use, and maybe after the 2.4 patch it gets a little bit of boost here. So those are the reasons right there why it slides in at number 5. So the fourth here is actually an item that generally I don't use a ton, but that's because it's used a lot in a game mode that I generally don't play, but it's used a ton in that particular game mode, and that is the Crown of Ages. That game mode that I'm speaking of is hardcore play. If you ever watch any of my streams or ask me that question, you know I do not play hardcore because, well, I drop dead literally all the time. In hardcore, you absolutely cannot be doing that, and that's why a lot of items that will increase safety are then used in hardcore, such as the Crown of Ages. Said attributes on this helm that will help you out safety: it's got 30% faster hit recovery, it has 20 to 30 to all resistance, and of course, very important for safety, it has 10 to 15 to damage reduction. You can make this helmet give you even more safety with the 1 to 2 open sockets if you're looking for value, and the ones you really want to use, it's really going to be 2 sockets or bust. It does indeed have 1 to all skills as well to help your character out, and with all of this combined into one helm, that's why this is coming in at number 4 on the list. So the third one on this list is kind of a weird one because generally nobody uses this helmet on their character. Now, I know that sounds weird. How can it make the list of best helms when nobody ever even puts it on their character? That's because everyone puts it on their mercenary generally, and that is the Enduros Visage. The Enduros Visage has some absolutely perfect stats to help out that Act 2 mercenary, such as the extra strength, which will make your character able to use your very good Infinity or Insight base earlier, rather than have to get into the levels like 90 or so in order to get enough strength to wear things like, we'll say, the Colossus Volge. It also has 20% increased attack speed, along with a bunch of life leech, because the faster you attack, the more damage you put out. The more damage you put out, obviously you're killing monsters faster, but also you will leech more life if you deal more damage. It does have a pesky, actually minus 30% to your fire res, which a lot of people will put a socket into this with the larger quest and go ahead and just plug a rail rune to completely negate that negative effect on your Act 2 mercenary. So because when your Act 2 mercenary, or any mercenary for that matter, does not lose durability on its items when it is wearing them, a lot of people will search out the ethereal version of this, though it is incredibly hard to find. So because the Act 2 mercenary is so widely used, and this helm is so widely used on that Act 2 mercenary, that's why I decided to put this one in at number 3. This helm right here actually had some consideration in coming in at the number 1 spot because it's so rare, it's so powerful for the builds that it's used on, and that is the Griffin's Eye. I had to put it at number 2 though because it's specifically used on lightning casters. That's because of the 25% faster cast rate. It has 15 to 20 minus to enemy lightning res and 10 to 15 to your lightning skills damage. So this is an absolute must-have for any of those lightning casters or any lightning skills damage characters in general, such as the lightning sorceress, or what's going to be good here in 2.4 patch, the Nova sorceress. And even though not generally used for the cast rate on them lightning fury Javazans, because that minus enemy lightning res and plus your lightning skills damage is crazy powerful. When you switch from whatever other helm you're using to this one, you will notice a massive kill speed boost. You can boost that kill speed up even more with an open socket and plugging in a lightning facet. Now this isn't as widely used as what's coming in at number 1 on the list, but it's so powerful, it's so rare, it's so valuable, and it's just so good for the builds that it's used at. That's why I put this at number 2. Now what's coming at number 1 here might shock some people, but that's actually the Harlequins crest. Okay, well, actually, no one in the entire world is shocked, because if you ever jumped into a cow game, or a sea bale game, or pretty much any game that's not PvP in Diablo 2 Resurrected, you'll be seeing every character running around with this green helm on. That's because even though this isn't the rarest helm in the game, it has so many good stats on it that how could you not use it if you're going for magic finding player versus monster? So as most people know, because everybody has used this at some point in their life, this helm has 2 to all skills. It's got 1.5 points to life and mana based upon character level, 50% better magic find, physical damage reduced by 10%, and 2 to each attribute. This helmet is almost always socketed and then stuck with a perfect topaz to get that magic find even higher. So in my opinion, this kind of ends up being a no-brainer because almost every single build in the entire game uses this helm when they're out there magic finding or out there farming monsters. And that's why this one came in at number 1 on the list. So if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe up so you never miss any of the future videos. And like I said, if you disagree with anything I put on this list, head down in the comment section and let me know, respectfully of course. So if you like the shirt I have on, or some of these other ones like my Keep Slaying shirts and stuff like that, look down in the description. I got a link to my merch store, or there should be a little store just underneath the video, and you can pick those shirts up and a bunch of different other ones. Peace out, YouTube, and don't forget, keep slaying.